Hello and welcome to your FIFA football qualifiers, where alongside me I've got Andley, myself, Gavin, and we are here with a little bit more FIFA action for you this weekend. Andley.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys joined us last week, we had some exciting matchups. We had the Orlando Pirates footballing team in here with us, and they definitely showcased their skill. And hopefully today we'll have more of the same.
It was a big blockbuster of a FIFA day for those guys. I'm sure the guys wanted just as much as what they wanted it last weekend. The guys that did fall out, they are trying again this weekend, and we'll definitely see some more tactical play and more excitement as there's new players involved this weekend. Someone that is new in studio with us, we've got Rue, who will be facing up pretty soon. And I don't know, Andy, what do you think is going to happen as we go along this weekend with the FIFA?
Yeah, let's hope for more excitement, of course. I think last week we saw that some of these pro gamers, I can put it, had a lot of skill and tactical advantage and the ability to piece together and build their team. And because of that, we saw quite a few big winning margins. So I think today's players, I think they'll have a more competitiveness to their games because of the differences involved.
Competitiveness is a highlighted word in this tournament, as there'll be about 1,000+ players that will be battling it out on the FIFA field on the 4th and the 5th to the 6th of May, where we'll have our main tournament taking place, where it will be a broadcast across both platforms, PS4 and Xbox as is, and the winners will be taking home 400,000 irrespectively of their console play.
Yeah, with a total prize pot of 1.5 million rand. So it's not just the people that come in first place that will be taking home some money. It will trickle down all the way to 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So the way these qualifiers works is if you win it in this weekend, you pretty much get a little bit of a bump up to the following rounds at the main tournament. But nonetheless, Anley and myself had a go at FIFA last weekend when we came into studio. He won 2 games, I won 2 games. We have a decider. Nonetheless, we think we're good, but the way these guys play, they definitely show us how it's done.
Yeah, they are definitely on another level. Like we were saying just before we joined you guys, is that we usually think that we are good when we play, but these gentlemen are on another level. The timing, the composure that they have to execute the moves on FIFA is actually just, yeah, it's world class.
World class indeed. Now, the way these guys set up their players, there's a lot of world class players that are actually chosen amongst these guys. We saw the likes of Player of the Year Ronaldo come out a few times. We saw Brazilian Ronaldo come out. We actually had Ronaldinho on the field last weekend. And the likes of Vieira and maybe the likes of Mkhize. Not one that everyone would be choosing, but he was pretty good in his gameplay.
Yeah, I think knowing the individual players in your team makes a huge difference. Some players know exactly what their players can do, and they can utilize their full potential. And you know what? A team is only as good as all of its parts, and when you know each individual player so well, you can go ahead and make that winning difference.
A lot of the guys were making the use of Pogba and Vieira in the middle of the park, where they were having a lot of quick strikers such as Bale and Ronaldo in a striking position, should I say. That really made a big difference in the way the formation was set up. Now, Andley has a very particular way of setting up his team.
Yes, I definitely do. I like playing attack, attack, attack. I think the best defense is a good offense, as they always put it. So for me, having those pacey attackers such as Ronaldo, such as Gareth Bale, such as Lionel Messi, and maybe even Aubameyang just adds to that potency of an attack.
Yeah, I do like playing the 4-3-3 attack because it just creates more like space towards the wingers on the side to create more depth in the middle of the park, and the crosses do come into maybe a Zlatan in the middle in the striking position.
Yeah, definitely. That is something that I like as well, is having that big, powerful center forward to be able to score from almost any position. And I think, again, Ronaldo and Bale fit that criteria very well. Not only are they pacey, they are strong on the ball. Another person for me, another player for me that would fill that role is Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Oh, I mean, if we looked at the MVP of players, should I say, or the OP of players, was Abu last weekend with his packed-out team where he had to actually bench Messi and Thierry Henry on the bench.
Yeah, that team was actually a sight to behold. I think there was every single legend on the field, bar maybe Pele.
Well, nonetheless, we want to get straight into the action. Please don't go anywhere as we have our first game of this weekend for the FIFA qualifiers. We'll be right back. Welcome back, FIFA geeks out there. We are almost ready for this first game this weekend. We've got Ru vs Don. Now, Andley, talking about tactics, how do you think Ru should go about this game?
Well, once again, attack, attack, attack. I have spoken to Ru, who is in studio with us, and he said he likes to play a 4-4-2 formation with the wings out wide so he can cross in the balls for the strikers to finish.
Now, it's always nice to have two strikers linking up, but two midfielders linking up is always a little bit tricky because both could be attacking at the same time as well as your wingers, and then you're a little bit vulnerable at the back. So you got to make sure you got enough guys back as well as going forward. So the formation you normally choose, Andley, what do you normally go with?
You know what? I usually have a modified 4-4-2 formation where one of my center midfielders are hanging back slightly and one of my central attacking midfielders are there basically supporting the front two.
Well, I like doing the 4-3-3 attack where my wingers are a little bit more forward than the striker. This just building up good connective play when crossing the ball or actually just working my way through the middle of the park. Nonetheless, we do talk about the guys having too much maybe confidence after scoring the first goal. Something to talk about which we saw last week in Andley.
Yeah, I think, what did they say, that immediately after you score, that is the most dangerous time and the most time where people concede because you're still running on that high and you actually forget your defensive duties. So let's hope that the players are aware of that. And another thing that we've talked about is the 2-goal lead, which is also potentially dangerous.
Yes, going into halftime with a 2-goal lead, we've seen guys actually mess it up and find themselves equalized with about a few minutes to go and maybe trying to find the winner, and that puts a lot of pressure. So maybe possession is the name of the game at this point in time.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think we're going to cross over live in this game where we have Ru vs Don. Ru is playing in red and Don is in the blue side. We do have our first kickoff and it looks like we've got a nice early ball here into the box and Ronaldo is now on the ball. Looks for Müller. Müller does get the ball back. Maybe a good tackle here in the middle of the park.
Potentially good tackle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Now Ramos needs to get back with Griezmann on the ball. Cuts inside. Can he finish the finesse shot? But it's just wide of the upright. A few of these guys coming into a little bit of a breather into the first 5 minutes of this game. Again, Griezmann has struggled to put that one into the back of the net. Now,
but I think a positive counter-attacking start there from Ru in the red.
Yeah, Alex now on the ball. We've seen him play for a few teams last weekend. Essenciano is in the middle of the field here, finds a nice long ball to Dele Alli, who is got a lot of pace and a lot of skill. Now Müller, the Bayern Munich player, wants to get the ball into the middle of the park and doesn't do so. Now a counter-attack. Costa gives it out to Kaka on the wing. We've seen him in a few games last weekend as well. Alex with a bit of clean-up work in the middle of the park. Gives it out to Vidal, who's got a lot of space. Gives a good ball to Aubameyang with a lot of space. And a great strike coming in. Maybe a second one at it. And it's a goal for the first one in this weekend. Coming in from Don. Very good counter-attack football, Andley.
Yeah, definitely. I think the goalkeeper made a really good save. However, the rebound fell very kindly for Don, allowing his player to slot it in for a goal.
Now we have Ru that needs to do some comeback work very early on in this first game between the two guys. It does look like Ru needs to maybe have a little bit of a shuffle with his defense. Nonetheless, there's still plenty of time in this one, Andley.
Yeah, definitely a lot of time to still make that comeback. So let's see what Ru has got.
So it does early great counter-attack here from Griezmann from the kickoff. Does lose out to Payet. Is a very good midfielder to have. Now Costa Almost taking one too many. Aubameyang back to Costa now. Can he find a cross to take the shot himself? Does have a bit of tricks in the box and loses the ball out. Needed to take the shot maybe. Good counter attack here coming from Rue. Little chip ball gives it away back to Don's side, who's now got a lot of possession, a lot of time on the ball. Great slide tackle coming in from Rue. Now needs to find himself back with 3 against 4. Very dangerous player. Tracks the ball back, and what a great save there from the defender. That might have just gone in, but lucky stuff here for Rue and his side. But he needs to defend again. And looks like Ali with the ball out to the middle of the park. Now a good counter attack. Griezmann needs to find link-up play with Ronaldo, who has scored many great strikes in the past weekend, but does give the ball away rather cheaply in Don's half. Rue has to get his defenders back. Nice link-up play here between Don's two sides. Open goal here for what looks like Aubameyang. Maybe should have taken the shot first time round. Does force it out for a corner. Andley.
Yeah, I think he probably should have just taken it the first time, but ooh, what a save from the goalkeeper. That was very, very close as well.
Exciting stuff, yeah. The first game of the qualifiers. I must say a lot of pressure is on Rue early on. He's got about 25 minutes in-game time to go before half-time to pull his one back. Now a nice long ball coming in from De Gea to find Ronaldo, who does give it away. Wanted to force the ball there. Nonetheless, does look like Don and his attack play coming in with some great skill there. Does lose it out to Ostu, who now are looking for a few runners. Doesn't find any. Does look like Griezmann is in a great position here. Checks it back for what looks like Müller with a shot and a great save coming in there from the keeper from De Gea to save that one and force it out for a corner.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but the shot was straight towards the goalkeeper. I think a bit of composure, as we were talking about, is needed for both players. Most of the plays does seem a bit rushed at the moment.
Dangerous stuff, yeah, from Don and his side. Maybe a counter attack now. Great sliding tackle coming from Rue's defense. Now Ostu needs to clean up. Yeah, Ronaldo finds himself in some good space. Gives a great ball out to Griezmann. Needs to find the first time cross. And well defended from Don's defenders. Good long throw from the keeper, De Gea himself. Probably the best keeper arguably out there right now, especially in the game of FIFA. Someone to have now. Ronaldo, good link-up play here. Needs to find a cross for Müller, who is in the middle of the park. Finds himself wrong side of the ball. Again, dangerous stuff as Don comes out with a great counter-attack here. Now, looks like 2-on-2. Can he play Aubameyang or will he go alone? It does look like he goes alone and gets bumped off the ball. Great shoulder-to-shoulder tackle there from Rue, who needs to come with something special to get back into this one.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the composure is still slightly lacking from both teams, and the distribution of the ball has been found to be slightly wanting. So these guys need to calm it down a little bit, I think, and work on the strategy that they wanted to employ from the start and create those opening opportunities.
Now we've got Don on the ball again. Him and his attacking roles. Great through ball. Maybe a volleyed shot here from Kaka. Does he finish it? He does, and he puts it into the left corner of the goal. Great strike from Kaka. That does put Don up 2-0. And we haven't even reached halftime yet.
Yeah, but 2-0, like we were just talking about just now, it can be a dangerous lead, so Don cannot rest on his laurels. He definitely needs to up the game to actually secure it. There's still another whole half, and Rue, if he just modifies his tactics slightly, can still launch a comeback.
I'm very sure with all the possession Rue has had, we are a little bit surprised he hasn't buried a few more into the back of the net. He has had a few strikes at goal, all on targets. With Griezmann's previous first early shot coming in, it was a little bit missed. Now again, great player coming in the middle of the park, but just not the ball to his feet there, losing it out to Gea, who does throw it out. Ronaldo now needs to look for Dele Alli, who finds Griezmann with a lot of space on the ball. Gives a chip out to Ronaldo, who does put Müller in towards goal. Does he track it back? Maybe he needs to find some support. Cross comes in. Oh, what a great save coming from the keeper. Müller just couldn't find the header to put his side up. And now it looks like we got Rue, who needs to do some defending duties. And it does look like we got Costa on the ball. who's got players left and right.
Overlap.
Does give it to Aubameyang, gets it back from Aubameyang. Now some dangerous defending coming in from.
Nicely intercepted.
Yeah, well intercepted. Now Ru just needed to get onto the end of that. We've got a minute to go before half-time. Who's it going to be in this first encounter? I think it's going to be very close. Nonetheless, we might just see half-time before a second goal does come in. Yeah, great sliding tackle. Well timed from Ru's
Very well timed. Potentially goal-saving tackle.
Now, Müller does find a good ball from Griezmann. Wants to give it back, but forces it instead. And the composure, Andley.
Yeah, composure is definitely something that we need to highlight for this game. I don't feel that the wingers are being used well enough. However, Don's attacking has definitely penetrated Ru's defense quite easily, if I can put it that way. And I do see that strategy and tactics are being modified. But against composure on the board, not rushing the counter-attack. You know what they say, possession is the name of the game sometimes. And I think Ru needs to hold on to the ball a lot more and not rush those passes.
I do like this 4-3-3 attack that Ru might want to play. He has altered his team to maybe get the guys upfield. Ronaldo still staying out wide. Who's it going to be in this second half? We are here live in the VS Gaming studio, and it is sensational stuff as both sides have got a pretty good build and setup of team nonetheless. But it does look like Don is in a bit more of a comfortable position as his team is 2-0 up going into second half.
Yeah, definitely a lot more comfortable. I think 2-0 is a good position to be in, but to solidify that, he has to score another goal, which he has just done.
What a fantastic build-up play. Great passing, interlinking, triangle play is something Andley has spoken about before in the past, and that was a great example of how that should be executed. Great finesse finish from Kaka. He does take his side, 3-0 up. Comfortable, Andley, or is there still a lot of time to go?
I think this is starting to get comfortable. Those 1-2 passes are definitely working for Don at the moment. Having that overlapping run from the players is making all the difference. All 3 goals basically came from having that additional player, making that run, and basically cutting the defenders apart.
Now Ronaldo with a cross and a good strike coming from the ball and a rebound
goal
coming in from Griezmann, doing a little cleanup work. Now these are the comebacks we are talking about. This is what makes FIFA great.
Yeah, just as I was saying how Don is getting comfortable, he definitely is not comfortable anymore. And Ru doing an excellent job, having luck going his way, getting that rebound for Griezmann to slot it home for a goal.
Now this is where we potentially see the shift of momentum from one team to another. Can Ru pull another one back to make things interesting? Nonetheless, he's got a lot of defending to do. Kaka is now on the ball, has a little trick, great sliding tackle again coming in from Ru. He is very good at those, times him really well. He just needs to work on the attack game, maybe pull another one back. Nice long ball coming in, maybe a little bit too much to ask for from
definitely
Griezmann.
Too much there.
A bit too far, but nonetheless, he has to defend or bring a few guys back. He doesn't want to overcommit to score the next goal. Does look like we've got great build-up players slots into the middle of the park. Aubameyang, who does finish, does put in and finishes a great 1-2 play from his side. Aubameyang with a right foot finisher, puts it into the back of the net and sends his team back into a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, again, that overlapping run from the wingers and from one of the strikers making the difference. It is very hard to come back as soon as you see one of your strikers being one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
A 3-goal lead is what Don has found himself in. Very comfortable, a lot of trickery going on. Maybe a through ball here, doesn't get it away. Ooh, very risky stuff here from Ru with the defensive duties. Now gives it on to Savik with a great strike, hits the upright and well cleared away from what looks like the defense of Ramos. Gives it out to Ronaldo with a good header, gives it to Dele Alli with a lot of space on the ball. Maybe a through ball here for Müller. Well-timed tackle, having a little triangular play here from Don's defense. Very comfortable on the ball. Now a nice, good run coming in from what looks like maybe a good counter-attack. Now the ball does come across, but he was in offside position. I was just waiting for the The linesman actually
confirmation.
called that one up. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes this new FIFA has a delay in terms of, well, let me put it this way, it's more realistic in terms of calling for those offside when the player actually touches the ball before they actually make that call.
Now maybe a good 1-2 play coming in. Good slide tackle coming from Ru's side. Nonetheless, he hasn't got the ball out just yet. And now maybe Henry can set Griezmann free. Good tackle coming in from Don's side. Maybe a bit of time left for him to get another goal, but Ru wants to find and fight his way back into this one. It's not over just yet. But does give the ball away rather very cheaply. A dangerous slide tackle coming in, more desperate than anything else. Now Don has the ball in wide spaces. Advantage played from the ref. Nonetheless, maybe he can put in a delicious cross here for Aubameyang. Decides against it, wants to go alone. Now the counter attack is on for Roof. He can put a few passes together. Back heels it to his left, right back, should I say. Now Dele Alli in the middle of the park with a lot of space. Doesn't manage to find the pass immediately. Loses it out to what looks like Ali back on the ball for Ru's side. A lot of space here out left for Müller and Ronaldo to link up. And unfortunately that pass just not making its way. Now great sliding tackle. They more desperate than nonetheless.
Yeah, I think once again I have to highlight the composure that is lacking even from the defender's side. I think Ru is doing a bit too much in terms of overcommitting to those tackles, and that's where the overlaps are actually stemming from.
It does look like Don didn't lay off with any of the attack. Great play, great skill coming in. Maybe should have just taken the shot. A fake shot coming in, not once but twice. Maybe he can finish it off. Oh, brings it onto the right foot really nicely. Now Costa just needed to maybe take the shot himself, and maybe might do so now with a finesse. Oh, great sliding tackle coming in from Ru as he still wants to fight for this one. Now Griezmann holds up play just a little bit, wants to set what looked like Müller free. Couldn't get the pass off. Now again he finds himself in a dangerous position as Don plays a 1-2 and doesn't find the second pass that could have maybe put Aubameyang one-on-one with the keeper again. Now Ronaldo with a lot of space to give the ball out to Müller, who needs to find a running support play and gives it back to Griezmann. Now Müller maybe with a strike. Oh,
that was unlucky. Otherwise, that was very, very good play. I think all kudos to Ru for not taking it easy, for keep on pressing for those attacks. Unfortunate not to have scored there.
He needs to find his way back, but he finds himself in a very defensive position. Now great play coming from Kaka. Can he finish? Lines up for Costa and doesn't score the goal. Well played up until the third and final play. Another cross coming in, maybe volleys it. Oh, straight into De Gea's hands. Catching practice for the keeper.
Yeah, last few minutes to go before the game, I think it's safe to say that this is pretty much set and match for this specific game. But like I said, big ups to Ru for not giving up. You can see he's pushing hard. But maybe for the second game, let's see if he can modify his strategies a little bit more and be a little bit more composed on the ball as well.
Now this is the gameplay we want to see from Ru. Just forces the last pass, doesn't get it away. Maybe a final bit of player for Ru to just score one and does take the stride. Pardon me for losing my words. I was just getting a little excited on Ru's behalf. Nonetheless, good counter attack coming in from Don, who hasn't given up on this attack, Andley.
Yeah, that is definitely something we like seeing. Attack, attack, attack. And that's where most of the excitement comes in. And he is doing very, very well to keep the ball rolling and to keep the flow going and dictating the play.
Now he wins himself a free kick in a very promising position. Does want to waste a little bit more time, sets it up for the player. And maybe fancies a striker goal or cross it in a very dangerous position. Nonetheless, that is 90 minutes. Ref just playing the stoppage time that's left. Now, what can we do with this free kick? Looks like Aubameyang might just strike this well-worked free kick.
Oh.
Maybe training ground stuff. Nonetheless, gets forced out for a corner. Ref says there is time for this corner.
That was a very, very well-worked free kick. Unlucky to have it not come off.
Oh, a great volley coming in from the low-flying free kick. Very well played. Nonetheless, it does look like Ru will take this one in a very disappointing game, should I say, for himself, where Don has maybe just sealed the deal here and taken the first game between these two guys. Andley.
Yeah, definitely. I think a little bit of nerves might be coming into play at this moment, considering this is our first game of the weekend, not just the day. But I think good well done to Don there for coming out with that convincing victory. Like I said, we enjoyed the fighting spirit from both teams. There was no giving up. You can see that Ru, despite being goals behind, was pushing and pushing and pushing. But once again, I think composure is still the key over there to victory. I saw that he forced too many passes and overcommitted on those tackles, and it will be a lot better to actually hold on a bit more and to find those passes to make sure they come off.
I think if we do sum up Ru's second half of that game, it was a little bit more, should I say, composed as the first half. Nonetheless, they are going to take each other on again. And maybe Ru with a little bit more thinking and back to the drawing board for him to speak, and maybe in terms of the defensive play. And again, as Andley has mentioned, the maybe overcommitment of attacking is something to speak about. But now I do think that Don does know it's not over just yet.
Yeah, I think he definitely does know, but I don't think there's that much he needs to change up in his game so far. I think most of the thinking and tinkering needs to happen on Ru's side, where he needs to watch out for those overlaps and those 1-2 passes because of those overcommitment in the tackling.
So Ru's attacking role is very exciting, just not finishing the final third play. I think if he had to put those in the net, he should have put in the net. We would have had a very interesting game on our hands.
Yeah, something also very interesting is I see that Antoine Griezmann has been the person of choice for Ru to actually lead his attack. He is a clinical finisher. He is fast on the ball. However, he's not the strongest on the ball. If it was you, Gavin, would you make any changes up front?
I think if I was Ru, maybe I would play Ronaldo a little bit more forwards. Maybe put him even in the striking position and have Griezmann sit behind him. That's always good to have the two link-up play. Nonetheless, he has to finish. That's the main key. He's playing really well. He gets the team into the box. It's just those final finishes that's just not going his way.
Yeah, no, I think goals win games, and we need to see, or at least we want to see, a whole lot more of those to keep things exciting and interesting. And remember what we were talking about last week. I still want to see a goalkeeper make one of those runs to spice things up a little bit.
Andley just won't give that a rest, as he wants to see a goalkeeper score in the qualifiers. We might see that this weekend. Nonetheless, we can see that Ru is making a few changes here. Tactical decisions. He has got a strong side with him. Nonetheless, it actually looks a lot stronger than Don's side for me. Just can't find the link-up play between the guys. The chemistry is there. Now, for him to go into the second one, he's going to need to score first, Andley.
Yeah, I think to boost his own confidence and actually compose himself a little bit more, a first early goal would definitely be a necessity.
Now these guys are getting ready for this. It does look like he's sticked with the 4-4-2 formation, something he did mention he is really comfortable with. Again, he's got Ronaldo now in a bit more of a midfield role. Griezmann out left, Müller out right, Thierry Henry on the wing. We haven't seen much of him in the first game. He does swing him out because he has a great right foot. You want to bring him onto the right foot. I think it's a good start there for Ru.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a good start. Again, I am not the biggest fan of Thomas Müller. He is, for me, a bit too slow to playing in that position. However, if the wingers are able to cross those balls and get it on his head or on his right or left foot, he is surely to score.
Costa, the man that made the game in the previous one, scoring the goals very early on. Now Ru has the kickoff but loses it out to Don. Don is very good in these positions as he gives the ball out to Costa, who might just fancy an early strike here. He's one-on-one to the keeper. Oh, great save. Brilliant defending coming in from Ru. Now we have to see what he does with the ball. Looks like the ball does get dragged out quite nicely. Advantage being played from the referee. Now Griezmann. Oh, lovely stuff. Great through ball there for Thierry Henry. Wants to bring onto his right. Müller with a header. Oh, just going to get a rebound shot. Maybe coming in. Tries to force the pass. Instead, maybe walking into the back of the net. Nonetheless, this is dangerous stuff for Ru as he's overcommitted with maybe a 3-on-4 situation. Oh,
nice
well
tackle.
Defended from Ru himself. Now the ball gets played in the middle of the field. Great through ball. Just not finding his man. Don with the counter attack. Looking for Costa, who does link up well with Aubameyang. He's one-on-one with the keeper. Can he finish? Maybe just one too many touches, but scores the goal in the bottom left corner. exhilarating stuff here from Don's side on the counter attack. 1-2 play with what looked like Griezmann, puts him on one of the keeper, Andley.
Yeah, it was almost identical to most of the other goals that Don has scored, is allowing Ru to overcommit and having that 1-2 pass, which is again happening right now as we speak. The overcommitment from the players being to the detriment of Ru's play.
Now Kaka had a bit of link-up play, again identical with Aubameyang leading up to the goal. Now it does look like there's some composure coming in here from Ru's side, who does swing the ball out to Thierry Henry. He wants to force play rather than just give it to someone that's open. Now he finds himself in a dangerous position. Some sick play coming in here from Don's side. Great 1-2 stuff. Now Ru with some defensive duties, who does give it away rather cheaply. Aubameyang with a lot of space out wide. Cross it in. Oh, great shot coming. Clearance save of the
goal
defender
line
there.
clearance.
Now that was some end-to-end stuff as the keeper made the save, but the ball was bouncing towards goal. And the defender is still down, but play continues. Don wanted to make good use of that and take a long-range shot. Now Ru on the ball, looking for a few runners with Müller. He does find Ronaldo. Oh, actually it's Griezmann. Maybe a pass or a good strike. Needed to go far post. Maybe force a save rather than the corner. Nonetheless, he's in a good position. Yeah, maybe a good header now. The rebound shot, maybe a long-range shot coming in, but Dele Alli fancies it for Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
Double tackle coming in from Don.
Yeah, Don is doing very well to keep up the pressure even from a defensive area, and that has led to this attack right here.
Aubameyang wants to square
And
it up
goal.
for Kaka. He does score the goal. Well played from Don's side, in pulling out the keeper like that to square the ball up for an easy tap in. 2-0 up again in 20 minutes.
Yeah, again, I think that is one of those friendship-ending passes where you are one-on-one and you have two players, and that little lateral ball that he played for an easy tap-in allows Don to go 2-0 up.
Yeah, Aubameyang definitely pulling the keeper out there as we see. And now early change here. Ronaldo's come off.
Yeah, that was an injury that forced that change, Gavin.
That is unfortunate for Ru's side. Nonetheless, got Griezmann on the ball here, trying to look for a few runners. Does find Müller. Maybe wants to fancy the shot onto his left foot. Decides the through ball instead. Ooh, very dangerous defending, but it did work in Don's favor. It gives the ball away rather very cheaply. Now Griezmann with the ball in the box. Can he drag it onto his right foot for a shot? Well defended again from Don, who has got a very dangerous counter attack. A lot of pace with Aubameyang is what Andley did speak about earlier. Kaka links up with Aubameyang again. Does continue the run. Does the ball get maybe spread out to one of the guys up front? Does look like Costa does get taken off the ball rather very easily from Schweinsteiger. The man with a great lethal pass. Oh, and almost gets a good through ball there to free up what looked like Griezmann. Now maybe Ru needs to rethink this, that he's only 2-0 down. A lot of time to go, and Griezmann gives it back to Müller. Maybe he can have a good long-range shot here. Doesn't do so. Almost a good tackle coming in there. But now the counter-attack we've been talking about. Kaka one-on-one with the keeper again. Does he chip the keeper?
Oh, that chip needed to be a little bit earlier. I think Ru did very well just to read the situation and have the goalkeeper come out and make that catch.
That was very well saved from De Gea. Very well played to rather go for the chip. Just not working and getting enough power on that one. Now Don again with the counter-attack. Ooh, some great dummy play there. The slide tackles are coming in through left and right from Ru's side. He does need to find maybe a few wingers running. This is the composure we're talking about, Andley.
Yeah, definitely. I think let me add another adjective to that, and that is finesse. I see Don being having a lot more finesse on the ball, making those right decisions and not rushing those passes. You can see he is more than willing to play the ball backwards, to hold on to position and reset and restart that attack.
Thierry Henry just finding a cross that hits the end of the defender. He's got the ball again. Maybe now with some space to cross it, decides against it, gives it to Ostu, who puts in a delicious cross, but no one on the end of that. Oh, great skill coming in from the right back. Now with a lot of space on the ball, does use it. Oh, nice slide tackle coming in from Ru with a back heel finish, just forcing the ball. Maybe just rather too quickly, needing to find the player that's open rather than the player that's in a very tight angle. And now, Costa's on the ball looking for some skill, but now, good tackle. Maybe a bit of time left for Ru to come up with some goods to put himself back into this encounter. Andley.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ru needs a goal desperately as we are approaching halftime. Even if it's one goal to at least boost that confidence and try and launch a comeback from. Otherwise, as the clock ticks by, it will become more and more difficult.
Vidal maybe needs to cross to squares it up for Kaka. Has a bit of tricks up his sleeve. Gives it out to Aubameyang for Costa on the left foot. Oh, just sneaking past the upright.
Yeah, I think that was quite a crowded penalty box. And I think that was quite a hopeful effort, but we have seen those go in before.
Savic on the ball, maybe needs to square it up. Does so, puts it at the near post, well defended. And keeper doing some cleaning duties. Throws it out rather very quickly to get things up for Schweinsteiger. Does force out play for what looked like Müller needing to get onto the end of that. Just not quick enough, as Andley has mentioned, not the quickest player around.
Yeah, definitely so. He is still, as good as he is as a player, I have never found him to be effective enough up front because of not having that pace. If it was me, I would probably slot him in central attacking midfield, maybe just to support the top two. But let's see what Ru has up his sleeve.
Ru does find himself in a little bit of a deja vu. 2-0 down at halftime. He has to make changes. Maybe Ali up front, he needs more pace rather than height at the moment. A few guys on the bench maybe to bring on. He has already had a forced sub, someone he didn't want to sub, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But because of the injury, he had to come off.
Yeah, I think that is a big, big loss. That is probably one of the most important players, if not the most important players on Ru's side. Ronaldo, being the all-rounder as he is, will pose a constant threat, and he surely will be missed.
Well, Thierry Henry is now playing in a more central defensive role rather than wing. Not a very ideal scenario for most players, but I think this might work, Andrew.
Yeah, well, Thierry Henry started his career off as a winger and was converted to a striker, and a potent one at that, by Arsene Wenger. But his pace should do well in most of these scenarios on field.
Nonetheless, De Gea forcing that one out for a save. Early attack here from Don, who does go the short corner. It does fake it rather than anything else. Pulls the defender out. A sensational header, finding the far post. De Gea in no man's land to make that save. Nonetheless, that does put Don 3-0 up in the beginning of second half.
Yeah, something that is very interesting is that this is probably the first direct corner goals that we've seen in the competition so far, and it's quite refreshing to see, actually.
That is well played, bringing out the fake short corner, forcing the defender out of his position on the near post, allowing a lot of space to actually score the direct
corner.
And as Andley has mentioned, we haven't seen that in the tournament just yet. Nonetheless, it's happened. Now, Ru losing out to the ball very early on in this game. Brings out a counter-attack here from Don, who now links up play with the Aubameyang, maybe asking a little bit too much from the fella to get to the end of that one. Dele Alli with tons of space in the middle of the park. Who does he give it to? He swings it out to Schweinsteiger. Not the quickest play out in the wing, but can deliver a good cross. Cheaply given away. And now it finds a good counter-attack coming in from Kaka, who does get past one-on-one with the keeper. Needs to flick it up, maybe for a link-up play. Puts it wide. Nonetheless, that was some exciting play, Andley.
Yeah, I think Don will be disappointed not to put that away, and I think Ru is gasping a sigh of relief for not conceding that goal. But yeah, that definitely should have been slotted home for me.
The way Don gave the keeper the eyes, so to speak, to force the keeper the wrong way. They just couldn't put it in the back of the net. Nonetheless, he is back on it with Vidal. Aubameyang on the edge of the box. Very dangerous. And he finds it back. Good link-up player from the guys. Now Savic with a little trickery in the box. Needs to cross it. Squares it up. No one there just yet. Oh! What a great save and what great play. Costa with a strike from point-blank position. Doesn't score it now. Maybe we can go with a direct free kick again. Oh, that one was in a very interesting position. I've never seen the free kick get that far not being headed. Nonetheless, De Gea throws it out and links it up with Müller, who gets pushed off the ball rather easily. And
yeah, I think Don knows his players well enough. I think he knows who to back in those situations, and he has definitely come off having the defender coming out with the ball.
Costa just forcing the ball out of play, rather really in a funny manner than a silly manner. Nonetheless, it does look like Ru needs to find a goal from something rather than nothing. And Don now on the counter attack. He is very dangerous in this position. He's got two runners, one down the middle. It's Costa, maybe chips the keeper this time. Wants to square up, still has the ball.
Oh, what?
Mess up play from the keeper's
What?
side. And Costa has just scored the 4th goal for Don's side.
Yeah, what happened there, Gavin? I just blinked and I thought that Ru had made a really, really good interception, but that was not the case. Was that an own goal?
It does look like the keeper and the defender didn't get in each other's way. That is unlucky for Ru. Nonetheless, Don was there to bounce on that and score the goal.
Yeah, 4-0. I think that is just a little bit too far for a comeback, but there is still quite a lot of time. Let's see if Ru can score a few goals just to even the score line a little bit more.
Well, there's about 30 minutes to go in game. A very dangerous tackle coming in from Henry. He just gets a little talking off. No cards shown just yet. We've seen plenty of yellow cards last weekend. No raids just yet. The guys bringing in a lot of discipline. Not much foul play than fair play. Now the ball just gets forced out of play. And good counter attack here from Don once again. Maybe finesses on the right foot, but well defended from Ru's side. Doesn't get the ball out too far, but Ali is in a lot of space with the ball here. Does give it out to Mueller, who needs to find more runners and only has himself up front. And Lucid 1-2 player coming in from Kaka again. One-on-one with the keeper. What does he do this time? He needs a runner, and this time he does mess it up instead of finishing it.
Yeah, I think that was a slightly hesitant decision making and made the wrong choice at the end of the day. If that was me, I would have just driven that ball towards goal.
Oh, well played, yeah, from, does look like Hunter, Alex Hunter, the FIFA player. And it does look like he does lose the ball out. Unfortunately, now with the Dawn, with a lot of possession in this second game between the two of them. Good link-up player with Aubameyang in a lot of space. Kaka back to Savic, who does have a few tricks and finishes on the right and hits the upright. Ball still in play. Good clean-up work from Don. Ru needs to defend. Does he keep it in here? Oh, maybe a corner does come from this. A lot of pressure coming from Don Andley.
Yeah, I think Don is doing very, very well to actually draw out the attacks. I mean, being 4-0 up, absolutely no pressure on the man whatsoever. I do think that Ru is potentially getting quite frustrated with his lack of opportunities. And again, I hope he comes up with something just to at least even the scoreline slightly.
It does look like Don wants to square up one too many passes for a tap in and walk in the goals, as he is 4-0 up with about 10 minutes to go. Maybe he does find something special, and a good through ball coming in. Does he finish? He wants to chip the keeper again. A lot of chaos in the box, but nonetheless, De Gea does throw it out, and it is given away rather cheaply. You don't want... Oh, great sliding tackle there from Ru, who's got a lot of players running, but the ball doesn't find the striker that is intended to. But Don now with Costa needing to defend a little bit better from Ru's side. Good play, yeah?
Good
Slides
skill.
it up, but doesn't. It has a second chance at the striker. De Gea with the save.
Oh, is that a goal? Is that offside?
Does find the back of the net. De Gea the save. Couldn't keep out the header. Nonetheless, that is the 5th goal from Don.
Yeah, there's a good goal from Emmanuel Petit. I think Don again is piling on the pressure. It's unrelenting pressure at the moment. And the overcommitment again being to the detriment to the play of Ru.
Ooh, Costa with a fake to the left, and now it brings on to the right. Maybe one too many tricks up the sleeve and does lose the ball to Ru, who maybe just wants to score one goal before the end of the game. It does bring the ball out to probably the most tired player on the field, who's got no stamina left. Nonetheless, it is Hunter that's making a run, does get pushed off the ball rather very easily. And now Don with the counter attack with a lot of players left and right. Does look for Kakos and a lot of space. Keeper comes out for this one. And dangerous stuff there from Ru. Nonetheless, going in his favor. but gives the ball away rather very cheaply in the middle of the park. Has a player left and right, does find Aubameyang on the right. Cross to no man's land, does want to cut it back, doesn't do so, and goes for goal.
Yeah, I think he definitely should have pulled that one back because he had a player wide open waiting for the tap-in. But I think he's comfortable enough not to be too disappointed with not scoring that goal.
We've reached the 90 mark here in this second game between these two young fellas. FIFA, the name of the game. Nice corner coming in again at the near post. This time the defender was in the right place to make the defensive header. Didn't get it out. That is the 6th goal for Don's side, Andley.
Yeah, almost identical corner and almost identical goal to the earlier one coming from the corner. I'm actually really happy to see that it's coming off for these players because a lot of these guys actually play the short corner to try and work that goal. But the effectiveness of how Don is employing this strategy is paying off big time.
A lot of slide tackles coming in, but the ref has had enough, and Don has taken this 2-game lead, and he has won the second one quite convincingly, Andley.
Yeah, definitely so. I think Don has probably definitely understood his players a little bit more than what Ru had. He probably had a little bit more time in setting his team up. And it paid off. I mean, 6-0 is a convincing victory. Something that I would like to have seen more from Ru's team is the utilization of Marco Asensio. I mean, he is one of the informed players in the world right now, and that should translate onto this ultimate team. But he was found himself to be chasing after the ball rather than having the ball and making those plays as he is so good at.
The possession wasn't really 50-50 in that second one. It was more in the favor of Don as well as the scoreline. Nonetheless, a great play to both players. All respects to both guys. And we do see Don go into this one with a 2-game win where Ru needs to get back to the drawing board. Nonetheless, Andley, how are we going to go ahead with the next one? Because that was quite interesting as the first game of the weekend.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting. I think both teams started off. I think the scoreline actually skewed a little bit. I think it was actually a lot closer than what it actually was when the players were actually settled into the game.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, again, what I think costed Ru was the overcommitment in the tackles. He committed too early and allowing those gaps to open up. And I think Don, recognizing that, continued his strategy, continued those 1-2 passes, and created those openings. And almost all the goals came from the same style and tactic of play.
Well, as Andley has mentioned there, with the tactics coming into play, we can't really say Ru didn't do a good job in the middle of the park. It was maybe just a few forced passes than what we have seen from other players. Again, maybe Don with a bit more composure on the ball. And composure is something we spoke about as well. Is when you go into the lead, you still want to keep the ball. If it's in your half or their half, if you have the ball, you're still the attacking side.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And
sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, I think the composure was on point from Don. Like I said, he didn't rush any of the passes. When he needed to, he played the ball back to his defenders so that he can reset the attack. And he did that very well. I think he positioned his players in the right spaces so that they can be the most impactful. And like we said, we can see the little finesse touches here and there.
Yes.
That made the difference as well.
I think also what Andley mentioned last week is the triangular play, which was quite exciting from Don's side.
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, having that option of an open player to pass to constantly allows you the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do to dictate the play, and that is exactly what we saw in the game.
Aubameyang was played in that game, and what an impact he did make to actually link up play with a few assists for Kaka nonetheless, but he also scored a few. Pace was something that was in the favor of Don's side, and he made use of that. With all the action that we've seen so far, it has been crazy, and this is just the first game. Please don't go anywhere if you've just joined us. And we do look forward to you in the next one. We'll see you right after this break.
Cool.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and FIFA geeks alike. Andley and myself are here for this crazy encounter that we've got next, where we have Juven versus Ru, who's just played in the previous match. He did find himself in a very sticky situation with Ronaldo getting an injury, and he had to bring on Schweinsteiger of all players.
Yeah, I don't think that is a like-for-like replacement. If you ask me, I think Ronaldo is probably one of the most important players that you would want to have in your team. But nonetheless, this is the second game, and let's see if Ru can modify his strategy and come out with the win.
We have seen Ru make a few changes as he is here in studio as well as Juven. He is on the other side of the building though. Both these guys are not in line of sight for specific reasons. Nonetheless, they are here, they are ready, and Ru has made a few changes. We spoke to him in the interval where he's maybe going to play Ronaldo a little bit more in a different position. I don't know, Andley, how would you want to change your formation going into this next game?
Yeah, so like as we were talking just now, we were talking about having Ronaldo be a more centralized player up front, because he does have the likes of Dele Alli and Marco Asensio, who are creative players and can put those balls in for Ronaldo to score goals. Let's see if he goes with the discussion that we just had, and let's hope for another exciting blockbuster of a match.
It's going to be exciting indeed as these guys are making a few changes. It does look like we've got Ru, who's going to be wearing the black kit, or actually sorry, the white kit in this specific game, whereas Juven is going to be playing in the old black kit.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to distinguish these guys. Now, Ru has got a very interesting formation going here. I kind of like this one as it's very popular amongst a lot of FIFA players.
Yeah, Gavin has reiterated numerous times that his preferred formation is the 4-3-3, because you have the extra wingers and the other two attackers can potentially become those strikers. I'm more of a 4-4-2. I'm more old-fashioned, if I can put it that way. I feel more secure to have those midfielders set out where they're supposed to be set out and potentially have the ability to run onto the ball.
Well, it's going to be interesting stuff to see what happens in this encounter. As you can see, both keepers. De Gea is a very well-known,
trusted.
Yeah. And I mean, these guys definitely like using him more because he is so good. He is in form. And Ronaldo probably the player to be talking about and to look out for in this encounter.
Yeah,
a lot of pace and a good strike, both feet.
Yeah, I think I'm happy that the game seems to agree with us that Ronaldo would be your key man. Just showing the player to watch there. And on the topic of goalkeepers, I don't think we've seen any other goalkeeper other than David De Gea.
Well, we are here in the Emirates Stadium. Maybe it does look like Juven is an Arsenal supporter. Nonetheless, this is a good formation he's got going over here. A lot of these guys in the FIFA tournament do make use of this, as the players are out there shaking hands, getting ready for this. It is stressful.
Yeah.
We have seen Ru play the previous match. I think his nerves are back to what it was before the previous match. These guys haven't played each other before. They haven't seen what they've got. A nice 4-4-2 formation here from Ru's side, where we've got Griezmann and Müller in the attacking role, where Thierry Henry and Ronaldo are in the middle of the field.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. From the looks of things, Juven has a couple of players that we have never seen today, like the likes of Nainggolan, who is a Netherlands player.
Now, an early tactical change here from Ru's side, just forcing a 4-3-3 maybe, attacking role to find out what will best suit the players. This does have a bit of a nerve on maybe Juven. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what type of changes is being made here. So, yeah, we see Thierry Henry now making a bit of a left role position, where Müller and Ronaldo are going to be switching roles as well. Maybe Ali gonna be stayed up in the middle with Griezmann on the switch now.
No, I think that is actually a very smart move. I think the players that he has on paper, Ru has an advantage for me. Let's see if this advantage tells.
Now, Juven early on with the ball. Does look like it gets given away rather cheaply. Andley's player of the tournament so far. He does talk about him quite a bit. Now, Griezmann, what can he do with it? Gets taken off rather very easily. And it does look like Juven's got some very interesting players on the pitch, like Perisic. Oh, dangerous tackle coming in there. Dybala tries to look for Vidal, brings it back to Dybala. Now, good link-up player from the players. Maybe a strike coming in. Unfortunately, not finding enough room to do so. Now the counter-attack is probably Ru's very best side of play when it comes to the amount of speed he has on the pitch. Now, Griezmann does find Ronaldo. Maybe could just put in a good cross here from what looks like the far post. Was maybe a very dangerous place for the ball to find its way, but the cross didn't really find the player intended.
Yeah, I think that was a bit overzealous with the crossing. I think Atu is one of the pacier players, and he did very, very well to make that overlapping run. I think Ru needs to keep that up and show that he has the intent and the intentions to actually go ahead and score that first goal.
Now, Alaba swings it out across field, yeah. What might just be the first goal of the game, but just wide. Unfortunately, not finding the back of the net with that one. His radar was all wrong with that strike. Very dangerous play and very good play. Ru maybe just a little unsettled with that.
Yeah, I think that that tackle that went in before that again caught him out a little bit. He left the openings and allowed Nainggolan to run onto the ball. But luckily, very luckily, he did not finish and score that goal.
A little bit of messy play at the side of Juven's side. And now Griezmann on the ball finds a good cross on the edge of the area, on the edge of the box here. And he needs to get some players back as Juven has a good lethal counter-attack here. He needs to play the over ball and doesn't find the player intended to do so. Now, nice long pass to Thierry Henry, who has a few tricks up his sleeve. Finds a nice little through ball there for what looked like Griezmann, but just not getting the pass right.
Yeah, Gavin, I don't know if you're realizing this, but I'm seeing that Ru does have his player guide still on. And do you think that's sort of falling to the detriment of him? Because the opposition can see exactly where he's looking to pass the ball.
Yeah, it does make it a bit difficult for him to play against guys that can see that. It's almost saying, you know what, I'm giving the ball in this direction. He's got a lot of defending to do. Yeah. Oh, keeper comes out and grabs it now. The ball gets thrown out rather very quickly but dangerously. It does work. Now the long ball. Trying to find what looks like Müller. Does give it out to Griezmann, but now Juven has got the ball with his defenders and needs to find a few good passes to maybe just bring in the composure. Alaba now swings it out to Perisic and doesn't find the pass intended. Andley.
Yeah, no, Perisic definitely had the ball, but again, rushing it slightly, but a lot better compared to that first game. I think we should be seeing a goal really, really soon, Gavin.
It is end-to-end stuff. As you've mentioned, now the long ball coming through the defenders, and maybe a chip kick here, and the ref has given offsides.
Yeah, that was very, very close. I think he was very lucky. We were not sure if he was offside or not, and that is only inches away. Very, very lucky to have gotten away with that.
Dybala, a well-known player for his skill to make those little chip finishes. He did manage to finish the goal off. So good response, even though he was offsides. That might still keep the pressure on Ru's side. Now he needs to just maybe collect the ball here for Juven's side, and the ball does get thrown out to the left back. Now links up play with the left winger. The ball is now well played in the middle of the park. Perisic does find Dybala. Now maybe the through ball. Can he finish this one this time round? And he does so indeed. We find our first goal between these two guys. And it's Juven with the first goal coming in at 28 minutes. Well finished, puts it into the corner and finds himself 1-0 up.
Yeah, I think as we were saying, we sensed that the goal would be coming very, very soon. He was able to once again find that overlap. I think the two players committing to that one attacker allowed Perisic to run in and through on goal and finishing it off very, very clinically.
Perisic with a clinical finish. Now it is up for Ru to maybe come up with some clinical play. It does look like Juven's got his side on park the bus at the moment with his defenders. A very deep, does work in his favor, but now he's got no one to give the ball to. It does hold the play up nicely with Perisic, the goal scorer. Finds the right mid, gives it out back to Vidal. He's got tons of time on the ball. Oh, just trying to force the last pass in. Now Ru with the counter attack just doesn't get the bearings straight with the pass and loses it out to Juven's team again. And Mr. Naidu himself maybe wants to find another goal to just pile on the pressure. Oh, great skill there. Maybe a long shot coming in from Perisic on the left foot. Swings it up. Oh, good defending coming in from Ru's side. Who maybe has enough players with a lot of pace to get in a counter-attack here, Andley.
Yeah, no, Marco Asensio does have the pace to back it up, but I think he did very, very well just to hold it back a little bit and reset his attack. And now he's got that overlap on the wing.
Griezmann on the ball with a little trap over. Puts in a delicious cross on the volley. Oh! Does want to finish on the right foot of Henry.
And 1-1. That was a great goal.
That was a crazy cross with Ronaldo on the volley. Unlucky to hit the post, but a good follow-up from Thierry Henry to finish that goal. Now that is the type of player we've been waiting to see from Ru with this sensational strike from Ronaldo. Nonetheless, Thierry Henry, right place at the right time, putting his team 1-1 and bringing this game back to life.
Yeah, definitely. I think with that front three, if there is a rebound, they are sure to put it in the back of the net. So very, very well played there.
And that was exactly what Andy was talking about. Maybe having Ronaldo coming through the middle, having the ball at his feet. Perfect height for the volley. Well played from Ru. Now he's got himself in a sticky situation with a lot of defending to do. Now what can Juven do here with a strike, and he does bury it on the left corner. End-to-end stuff. We've just seen a goal from Ru's side. Juven Naidu does manage to pull one back quickly.
Yeah, that was clinical and precise finishing right there. And again, as we said, there is the most dangerous time to concede is actually when you just scored, because you have that confidence with you. But let's see what else these boys have in store for us.
End-to-end stuff here coming in early at the Emirates. I'm really enjoying the style of play from both these guys. Both are very different, but it is working. Now maybe a long shot coming in here from...
finish!
Follow-up goal! Has put it in. It does look like Griezmann has leveled matters. Just as we've had one goal on the one end from Naidu, Ru has scored one to level matters just before half-time.
Yep, no, I think this is great. This makes for a very, very interesting second half. Against the composure after that you've just scored, I think Ru did really, really well to create that opportunity and hang on to the pressure, and the goal coming off the rebound.
This is crazy stuff here. We didn't expect to have this scoreline just yet between the two of them, but it does create a lot of excitement. Now Naidu needs to find a few good passes together. He does so indeed. Dybala now swings out a good pass here. Can Perisic finish? Oh, first 5-1.
Oh my
Double save from De Gea. Now corner, first one of the game if I'm not mistaken. What can Naidu do with the ball? He does play it into the box rather very well, looking for a few runners. Eventually someone needs to take the strike, and Ru has a bit of defending to do and tackles the guys really well.
He needs to clear that ball, Gavin.
This is into it. Oh, great finish in the corner. This is exactly what Andy was talking about. If you're under pressure, clear the ball rather than give it away. And Mr. Naidu has made that one count in his favor. An excellent strike, none less to say, Andley.
Yeah, I think that's our first long-range shot of the day so far. And I think he made Ru that opportunity that he missed earlier.
Well, 3-2, and we've only just reached half-time. This is probably the most exciting game we've had in this qualifying FIFA eFootball qualifications. And what a way to start off this Saturday morning, Andley.
Yeah, no, definitely. We can see that strategy is again being modified here by Ru. He's changing things up a little bit. I think both guys are playing very, very well. I think they're very, very evenly matched in terms of holding on the ball and in terms of composure. It is a lot better, at least from Ru's side. We never got to see Juven play in the first match. But very, very exciting stuff, Gavin.
Yeah, we see a few changes coming in here from Ru's side, where he has Griezmann on the left, still good cross, and now Ronaldo's up front in a striking position once again. Now, going into second half, Mr. Naidu is looking for yet another goal to maybe ease things up, because I can think he is not really very comfortable at this point in time. Oh, good skill coming in here from Naidu. Just unfortunate not finding the pass intended. Now the through balls are coming in well. Late tackle. on the player there, and the ref has pulled this one back for a free kick in the middle of the park in Ru's favor. Does take a short one. Henry on the ball. Maybe you can fancy a long ranger. He is good at those. Oh, dangerous stuff here for Ru as he's lost the ball with a good counter attack. Maybe a through ball. Doesn't find the through ball, rather plays it safe. This is the composure we were talking about. And Mr. Naidu making good use of that. Now he can flick it on for maybe what could be a good finisher. Good save from De Gea. Does save it in a rather dangerous position.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a bit dangerous considering the ability of Juven to actually score from those long-range positions. But let's see what Ru can do now in terms of scoring that equalizer.
Looking for the long aerial ball, which didn't really work in his favor. I think he had more players around him to pass to. Players colliding with each other, yeah, as Naidu has the ball. He needs to work things. Yeah, maybe now opens up a bit of play. Needs to play the winger. Doesn't find the pass early enough, and he is offside.
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate, but I didn't see much options for him on the right-hand side. He had to play that ball or lose that ball, and unfortunately it was offside.
Now Mueller coming back into a more central position, and Thierry Henry is now going to guard wide, where Ali remains in the middle to control the midfield. Good tactical decision making here, because it does look like Ru needs to get more players upfield to score this to get it equalized.
Yeah,
Andley.
definitely. Those powerful players that he has just put up there, I think will be the differentiator. Let's just see if this pressure tells from his side. But I still think he needs to remove those player guys, because it is very easy to read what he is going to do with the ball next.
Good strike coming in there from Dele Alli, the well-known England international player. Tries to work it onto his left foot. Maybe needed to cut it back onto his right, his more stronger foot. Nonetheless, good strike coming in. Now it does look like Juven has to control this in a more possessional way and not give ball away. Now maybe finding a few good passes together, stringing them well. 1-2 in the middle of the park here. Does give it away rather cheaply. Maybe just needed to hold it on nicely. Thierry Henry maybe just trying to get a nice counter attack work there, and the ball is doing a little bit of ping pong here in the middle of the park nonetheless, but Mueller is on the ball.
Yeah, I think Henry, all the attackers, Henry, Griezmann and Ronaldo need to play the ball or with each other a little bit more. Play those 1-2 passes to set up those openings. That's what I would like to see, and I think that's going to be the tell to see if Ru can actually score that equalizer.
Oh, nice link-up player. Players are getting in each other's way, not knowing where the ball is, or trying to look for that long pass. Maybe forcing play. Ru needs to have a few short passes than these long forced passes, just to maybe play guys in the good positions. And as I speak of good passing, Juven is making good use of this, and maybe can finish. Good save. Oh, it does find it the back of the net. De Gea did come out to maybe try and force the save or mistakes on the player. Nonetheless, does get a touch onto it, and the ball falls in the favor of Juven in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think luck does play a bit of a role in this game, even in real life, and the ball was fortunate in stuff to bounce in Juven's favor, allowing for that fourth goal.
You can see De Gea trying to make himself big. It does come over his arm, takes a nasty bounce, and still gets it into the back of the net. Now, Juven finds himself 4-2 up, but Ru with a lot of attack play coming here does find Griezmann. Tries to put in a delicious cross here and does take a nasty deflection towards goal. Nonetheless, Juven has got some cleaning up to do here. Very dangerous play as he doesn't clear the ball. We've seen that happen with Ru, where he made a mistake at his own box and then conceded. So you don't want to see more of that. The good interception play coming in from Ru's side, needing to find the long ball from Dele Alli. He does find Ronaldo. Can't take the touch in his stride, and now the counter attack is on for Juven's side. Again, the composure is something more of to play for as he keeps the ball rather well. And now the long ball does come in. Dybala has a lot of space, plays a nice early ball to Mascherano, who doesn't shoot, he sets it up, and it's a goal for Juven's side again. The defenders were sucked in, and what an easy tap in the end. Well played from Juven's side.
Yeah, no, I think he did well there. I'm not sure how easy that was, but he did cut that defense apart and allowing for a more clear route on goal. So very well done to Juven, and yeah, he did exactly what he did exactly what he needed to do to be clinical and precise and bury the ball in the back of the net.
Exhilarating stuff here as Wu finds himself 3 goals behind with a 5-2 goal lead here for Alex Hunter. Now maybe just trying to work the ball and score a goal or 2 to bring his side back into this. There is still enough time, but the composure of Juven Naidu is important as he is keeping the ball. Now again, 1-2 player, Dybala on the left foot. Can he swing a delicious cross and tries to maybe go low? Hits the post. Now the rebound pass shot comes in, and the ball does clear away from Ru. Now the counter is on, but the ball gets given away rather very cheaply from Ru's side.
Yeah, no, that composure, as you were mentioning, is really, really key. He was even composed to try and finesse that ball into the goals. However, the keeper was on point. David De Gea is one of the greatest keepers in the game, and we have seen how effective he can be. But unfortunately, Juven has made all the difference in those 5 goals that he has scored.
Juven is still piling on all the pressure for Ru's side. Ru not really getting much of the ball in the second half. Good 1-2 player now maybe sets it up again and just doesn't find the final third play maybe to score the goal. I actually thought Dybala would have went for the shot himself. Now it does look like it. Ward finds himself in a lot of space here. Maybe he can track it back and find the right foot and finish, but does get taken off the ball rather very easily as he runs out of momentum. These guys do get tired, but great pass again coming in here from Juven's side. Now finds a nice through ball through the middle here. Great tackle. De Gea needs to clear this one upfield. Now, can there be a good header on here? Now, Griezmann finds himself on the left side of the field with no one running, no support just yet. Support is arriving, and a great ball from Müller, who is a little bit tired. Good cross for Thierry Henry, not in the right place at the right time. And now, end-to-end stuff here, and I can't even keep up with the play.
It is very exciting stuff. We can see that Ru is pushing very hard to get that 3rd goal and pull things to at least a more respectable scoreline, but that has not been the case, as Juven's defending has been top-notch, as he has put the players in the right places to block out any attempt that Ru has had.
Dangerous back pass here to De Gea from Juven's side, but Mr. Naidu himself does know what he's doing with these great triangular plays. Now does find a great pass to the middle of the field, and now maybe we finish up here one-on-one with the keeper. Oh, he decides to give another back pass, and the ref has called the match. And Andley, this is rather, I mean, from what we saw at halftime to what we saw now, it's 2 different games.
Yeah, it's 2 different games. I think Ru has lost his composure somewhat with those 3 extra goals that was conceded. But
very good goals.
Very, very good goals. I think getting the basics right is an important thing that we saw that Juven did. Again, the triangular passing that you've been mentioning, they were spot on. The give and go, create those opportunities. And again, a slight over commitment with the tackles, but a lot better compared to Ru's first game.
Well, Mr. Naidu has taken this first game in his favor with a 5-2 victory over Ru's side. Ru has a lot of great players on the field. He just needs to utilize them a little bit more in the final third and get those goals back. Going into the second game, Andley, what do you think Ru needs to do?
You know what? Again, just as you said, connect those players. He has great players on his team. However, they don't seem to be gelling as well as he would like to. I think, again, rushing of the passes. We see a lot of what we saw. Well, what we picked up just now is the game guide or player guides that is activated for Ru's side, and we can see that we were able to see exactly where he wants to go, where he wants to run, where he wants to pass, and the other thing is when exactly he actually wants to take that shot. And as a player, I think from Juven's side, he will be quite happy to see that in place because he's able to gauge what Ru wants to do next.
I think it is important to highlight the fact that he needs to work on that final play just a little bit more. Maybe just take on the shot, even though it's from range. Work the corner and pile on the pressure rather very early on. Nonetheless, Ru does need to score the first goal in this next match because that will make things a little bit more interesting. And Mr. Naidu may be the one that handles the pressure rather well between the two of them. Nonetheless, we will have the second game for you guys in just a bit as these guys are making a few changes to their teams as we speak. Exciting stuff here in these qualifiers, Andley.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. What I would like to see is what happened in the first half of that match, Gavin. We saw a lot more composure, a lot more balance. I think with goals comes confidence, and that's what we saw from Juven's side. And let's see if Ru can up his game slightly and score those more prolific goals and those long distance goals, because he does have those players who can strike them from distance. Ronaldo, distance striker. Griezmann, poise and composure on the ball. Thierry Henry, one of the greatest strikers in the world in his prime. So he should definitely try a few of those long shots.
I do feel like Ru doesn't really play well with the wingers out wide to get the crosses in, because there's always one to cross to in the middle of the box. Very difficult when you've got a good defensive structure the way Mr. Naidu has his side set up. Nonetheless, maybe Ru needs to come with a more composed, tight formation with maybe the guys working through the middle rather than out on the wings.
No, I think, again, if you want to work through the middle, you do have to have that composure. Let's see if he can actually get it to come off. He definitely has the players. I think he just needs to settle down a bit. I think it's also a bit different playing at home compared to playing in studio with us commentating right on the side. I think that might add just a little bit more pressure. But I think it adds to the excitement of the game. Some people actually absorb that pressure and makes it translate on the field. But let's see where we go.
Well, if you've just joined us with the crazy amount of action, do subscribe, do follow the channel. Andley, myself, Gavin, we are having a blast of time. These guys are creating great goals, great play. I mean, we saw a great volley coming in from the previous game. Probably what would have been the best goal of the weekend if that had gone in. Nonetheless, Thierry Henry with a good cleanup for Ru's side. Just not managing to work second half as well, where Ru does find himself one game down. And the next one is probably going to be a blockbuster, because we did see 7 goals in total from that previous game. Maybe a question mark around defending, Andley.
Yeah, that is actually the next topic that I wanted to. Gavin just read my mind. And is defending. I see that absorbing pressure was done better by Juven's side. Yeah. He was able to set his attackers in supporting one another if the ball became loose. I think Ru was a bit at 6s and 7s when the pressure came in. He overcommitted some players. And I think that's something for him to look out on, is to make the good clearances when they count. Sometimes you don't want to pass the ball out the whole time. I know that it's important to hang on to the ball, but sometimes clearance is, or just making that direct clearance is also very, very important.
Just a quick one, Andley. If you can go with the score line, what do you think this next one's going to be?
I'm looking towards a draw. I'm looking at a high-scoring draw, probably 3-3, because we do like seeing goals, and we have seen goals throughout this morning.
I'm probably going to go with a Ru on the win on this one. Maybe a 4-3 victory, because, yes, there has been a lot of goals between these two guys. Creative play we haven't really seen in the past weekend from the esports guys from Orlando Pirates. It's always nice to see these guys come up the ranks and do what they do best, and it's a bit different to what we have normally seen in the past week or weekend, should I say.
No, that is definitely true. I think it is just important to highlight these are actually the African qualifiers for the FIFA tournament. The winner of this tournament actually represents South Africa and competes on a global scale. So there is, other than that, there is a big... how much is it that they are getting if they actually win the tournament? 400,000 Rand if they come first.
Yeah, both on both platforms respectively, both Xbox and PlayStation. We do have a lot of love for both the platforms out here in South Africa. Nonetheless, we want the best from both platforms, and they will be the ones taking home quite a bit of money. 400,000 a piece is what we've been told and informed. This will be taking place on the 5th and the 6th of May at Monte Casino. If you haven't heard about it, do visit the VS Gaming website page. Check it out. There's awesome content, not just around FIFA, a few other games as well. But right now, it's all about FIFA.
Yeah, right now, it's all about FIFA. I think there is a growing number of FIFA fanatics and FIFA players in South Africa and in and around the world. That's why we've seen the growth of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, talking about growth of FIFA in South Africa, there's probably going to be 1,000+ players taking part at this tournament. We've had something similar last year where the likes of VS Gaming did host that as well. And it's more than just a FIFA event. It is coming together, having a good time. Families out in support.
Yeah.
I mean, we were actually witnessing this 12-year-old kid with his whole family backing him. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the great stuff when it comes to esports, where age doesn't really matter. And when skills translating onto what you're actually passionate about. And we see that all the time, where Gavin just said, where you have a young gentleman with his full support of his family cheering him on and playing and taking on older people, such as myself, and actually coming out on top.
Talking about the ways of playing FIFA, I myself definitely like winning more than losing, but I think that's the case with everyone, except yeah, there's something to play for. So the atmosphere is high, the players are, you know, practicing. These guys actually even change nutrition, and all these sorts of, how should I say, this gameplay comes into effect, and these guys definitely do deliver the goods on the day. Nonetheless, we're about to get straight into this next one. These guys are ready. They are, yeah, they mean business. Andley, we're going to go straight into the game where Ru is going to take on his second game against Juven, and Mr. Naidu himself has won the previous one. A lot of changes to be made, Andley.
Yeah, I don't know about changes, but in terms of strategy, in terms of playing the game, I think there needs to be a few modifications if Ru wants to come out on top with us. But for you, then, I think is going to be more of the same. I think he did well, again, in his defense to keep things nice and composed. I do see errors creeping in here and there, but I think that should be sorted out in this second game.
We're back live here at the Emirates the stadium, where we have Ru in the all-white kit again, and it does look like Juve and Mr. Naidu is going to stick with the winning black kit. It does look like it.
Yeah, I think stick to the winning formula, as they say, right?
Yes, and the winning formula is something all players do want to get their hands on. Both these guys, similar formation, similar players as what we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, no, definitely so. I think players can become quite superstitious when it comes to winning. So they want to continue their winning ways by putting the same formation, putting the same players out there. However, that's a different story when it comes to the person who has just lost the game. He want to do all he can to actually come up on top and trump them in every department.
It's going to be tough for Ru to get back into this one, as there is a very same scenario lineup from Mr. Naidu. So it's going to mean that Ru needs to be a bit more creative, as it does look like he's done so, with Thierry Henry playing behind as a number 10 role behind Ronaldo. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think that's actually probably a smart choice. I think that's a lot firmer in terms of formation. I think he has a lot more structural integrity, if I can put it that way, from the back building up towards the front. And let's see if Ronaldo can work his magic again and score those goals. Remember, guys, those long efforts we haven't seen as much, and let's see if they get utilized a little bit more, and let's see if they pay off and become goals.
Maybe a few changes coming in from Mr. Naidu's side. Nonetheless, Ali's now on the wing.
Asensio.
Yeah, Asensio does look like he's left the wing this time. Your thoughts on that one, Andley?
That's quite interesting. I think he has a very firm central midfield pair with Schweinsteiger being there.
Yes.
I mean, we all know that he's a legend of Germany, and he has won. He's a World Cup winner as well, and I think he's very stable there and allows for Dele Alli and Asensio to be a bit more attacking in their play.
Does look like with Ronaldo and Thierry Henry linking up in the middle of the field there towards the striking position of what Ronaldo seems to be played as now from his managerial tactics. Nonetheless, a late tackle coming in now. Mr. Naidu has a bit of tricks up his sleeve as he lines up a good shot check coming in early on. First goal of the game within 3 minutes. Dybala with a left foot finish, a cross goal, taking it away from the keeper. And he's found himself 1-0 up very early on.
Yeah, Paulo Dybala is also one of those players that you do not want one-on-one with your goalkeeper. Amongst the best young strikers in the world right now. Somebody I would love to sign if Manchester United signs anybody. But yeah, 1 goal up. This is not looking good for Ru. He needs to make a comeback quickly.
Yeah, Ru does need to make a comeback pretty much right now. He's definitely diving in rather dangerously with the slide tackles. He has pulled him off really well within his first game of the weekend. Nonetheless, it does look like DeBala is setting up a good strike here. Oh, what a save from De Gea on the bottom right. Does get a hand to force it out for a corner. Now, the short corner this time. Too many tricks up Naidu's sleeve, but he does manage to retain the ball. And, now the break is on for Ronaldo. Ru needs a few players up. He doesn't have his team on an attacking role just yet. Nonetheless, the middle of the park is where the ball finds its way. Now, maybe Ronaldo can get in a good position. Doesn't look like Thierry Henry wanted to have Ronaldo play behind him this time round. But now the counter-attack is on again for Juven and his side, where Ru needs to do a lot more defending than attacking at the moment. He does get now the counter is something Ru is good at. And the ball is in the middle of the park. Now looking for the long ball to Dele Alli, who's got a lot of pace. Maybe he could have got to the end of that, but doesn't. Well intercepted from Juven's side, and he needs to maybe string a few passes together to find that second goal. And a great long ball here from Alaba. He needs to find a good cross, a few tricks rather than swinging the early crossing. Now maybe someone can work it up onto the right foot. Good passing coming in here, and a nice good strike in the bottom left corner. Does look like that one coming from a very well brought up directional play. Instead of crossing it, finding the far post, rather playing it across the edge of the box. Great finish, Andley.
Yeah, Galan is not the most prolific striker of the ball, as we know, but he did very, very well in placing that ball, and a little bit of luck for it to come off and end up in that bottom corner. But once again, Juven has definitely got his strategy spot on.
Juven is the man of the hour as yet, with 2-goal lead going in just to 20 minutes. This does put a lot of pressure on Ru's side. As he has a nice good link-up play again. The keeper is brought out quite nicely to do some clean-up duties. Now Ru needs to make a few passes and stick them this time, and maybe just take the pressure off his sleeve. Now Ali in a lot of space. Maybe can he take on the shot? Tries to find the pass, but the ball gets smothered out to Atsu, who could put in a vicious left foot cross here. Does so, maybe go to the far post. Oh, the keeper does force it into a great push out towards maybe what could be a counter attack. Thierry Henry linking on with Ali. Now finds Ronaldo, but not the best of best passes to find the edge of the box there. He needs to get those passes together, Andley.
Yeah, that final pass is just not coming off, but looks like a goal, a chip goal. And it's 3-0. That was a perfectly timed, perfectly weighted chip of a goal. And that counter-attack was blistering.
Juven with probably the most clinical finish yet today. A fantastic chip overhead kick. De Gea is a little bit too far out to make the save. Perfectly weighted, timed, powerful strike to chip it over the keeper. Just enough again to dip and land in goal. That does put his side 3-0 up. Ru in a lot of trouble very early on.
Yeah, I think Juven and the player that played in that chip knew exactly what was going to happen when the ball left his feet. You could see him turning away in celebration already. But I think Ru does need to modify his tactics a little bit. He needs to hang on to the ball a little bit more and not rush it. It's that composure at the end of the day again. He's just not playing the ball to the right players, and he's losing the ball too quickly.
Yeah, Ru just keeping the ball in play there. Maybe needs to make a pass or two here. Get a few players in. Does swing it out to the wing, but well intercepted. Now a throw in for Ru's side. Can still put on some pressure. Maybe a good cross coming in. Not the best of best crosses. Not enough power. Now this is the dangerous counter attack Juven is so good at. Maybe a good 1-2 player. Links up with Vidal, who does look for a runner. Who ran a little bit earlier. Maybe expecting the pass from the previous player. Again, it does look like Ru is giving away possession rather cheaply. Now, Perisic is on the ball. Maybe takes a strike on the far post. The ball gets saved towards infield. Looks like the clearance got cleared against DeBala. I'm not too sure what's happened, but DeBala has scored his second, putting his side 4-0 up, and we haven't reached half an hour.
Yeah, so 32 minutes, 4-0. There is a lot of soul searching that Ru needs to do to make any bit of difference. And Yeah, Gavin, do you think there is any room for a comeback after this goal?
I do keep my faith in Ru's setup and his play. He could put maybe a few goals into the back of the net. He does need to do so. Nonetheless, it doesn't really come down to my faith in him or not. He is in a little bit of trouble. His side is 4-0 down. The fourth goal was a little bit unlucky as the ball got cleared in the favor. And now a bicycle strike coming in. What great play here from Juven's side, linking up the play and what was probably a very wonderful
Volley.
scissored kick, something similar to what Mata's done against Liverpool not too long ago. And it's a great finish nonetheless, Andley.
Yeah, I think Juven is showing off a little bit here with that goal. It was clinical, it was precise. He knew exactly what he wanted to do when the pass came in. And boom, it is 5-0 before halftime. This is Mount Everest for Ru to climb in the second half. I think a little bit of damage control needs to be sitting in the back of his mind as well, as to not concede and make this too much of a one-sided game, but hopefully he can still come away with a few goals of his own.
Now the pressure is piling on from Ru's side. He needs to score this. It does look like it was Schweinsteiger on the end of things, as he's just come on to maybe bring on more play from the back to the front. Now a long ball coming in for Perisic. Well defended there. Now De Gea needs to clear this one upfield. Doesn't find a player. The ball is in a very dangerous position here, where Perisic is trying to link up, who has created that beautiful through ball, chipped, well weighted, chipped past to create the previous goal. Nonetheless, and Dybala are making rings for themselves. Yeah, and a great play coming in. Maybe the rebound off the crossbar. End-to-end strikes. A lot of pressure coming from the Juven and his side. I mean, great save from De Gea. The rebound against the crossbar. That is the FIFA we want to see.
Yep.
Exciting.
Yep.
And now Thierry Henry, can he put in a good cross? It is nice and low. Players diving at it, maybe to get something on that to score the goal. Might look like this could be the final play before ref calls halftime. And now the ball gets pushed upfield again. Maybe a through ball. No. Well possession played. Yeah, now the ref does call halftime. What probably would have been very dangerous for Ru and his side. Nonetheless, 5 goals coming in.
Yep.
And Ru is in some serious trouble here, Andley.
Yeah, so unrelenting pressure from Ru's side. And he has done very, very well to finish his chances. Something we would want to see from Ru's end of the game. But once again, having that composure to hold the ball up, looking for that opening, creating that opening, that's what's making the difference right now. And Ru does seem to be losing the ball a little bit too cheaply to his opponent. And he needs to work on that a little bit, don't you think, Gavin?
I do think he needs to work on stringing a few passes together. Now a lot of space here for what a strike on the left foot from Perisic. You can't give that man so much space. No one there in the defensive role to maybe just close him down. And he's going to score those 9 out of 10 times. 6-0 for Juven's side. And this is rather looking very endless for what looks like a very defeated Ru side.
I think it's a dire situation. He finds himself Perisic, composure with the outside of his left foot to curl it into the top right corner. And again, these are players you cannot afford that time on the ball. They will punish you.
Schweinsteiger gives a great ball out to maybe find a nice back heel there, just not finding the man. Now it looks like Mr. Naidu is in a bit of trouble, but does get away with it rather easily.
Yep, did very well in passing the ball out, passing to the open players and creating this counter-attacking opportunity.
You can see that Mr. Naidu is in a little bit offside position here. He does look for the players, shall I say, pressure to rather keep the ball, maybe just drag it into a different direction.
Yeah, definitely so, but he is 6-0 up, Gavin.
He is rather more comfortable than not at this point in time, where Ru needs to maybe score 1 or 2 here just to ease things up for himself. Now a delicious cross coming in. Oh, the ball, it did get hit out from De Gea. Took a deflection on his own defender. Now the counter-attack is something that Mr. Naidu himself is good at. Now the link-up play was supposed to work well. The defender taking him out off the ball. Doesn't get carded though. Maybe the ref just feeling for the scoreline.
Yeah, I think he definitely took one for the team there. Otherwise, he would have been through on goal, at least having 2 players against 2 defenders.
Now some very composed player. Maybe someone can take the strike on the left foot. Oh, pushes it a little bit wide. Nonetheless, great build-up play.
Yeah, very, very good build-up play. I think Juven has his strategy on point. He is utilizing his midfield to create those overlapping runs from his attackers. And again, they are very, very effective.
Very good tackle coming in from the defender there now. One-on-one scenario, yeah. Oh, great play, through ball. He's one-on-one with Dybala with the keeper again. Chip finish. Oh, what a save from the keeper.
Yeah, he needed a little bit more power on that ball for it to come off. That was unfortunate.
Mascherano does want to get this one back. Does he do so? Takes the strike on. And De Gea again with some cleaning up duties. Throws it out nicely. Doesn't get it to the man intended out on the wing. Ru is putting himself under more pressure here as he's attacking the players directly to make the defensive roles, and he's done so. Now maybe Ronaldo with a lot of space here. Now Müller on the ball. What can he do with it? Wants to find Ronaldo. Can Ronaldo take the shot? He does so, and it comes off the upright. That is the Ru style we know, almost working in favor. Ronaldo hits the upright. Devastating to not have finished that. Now this is the dangerous Mr. Naidu play we know. With all the link-up play he's got now, one-on-one with the keeper again, brings it back, keeper's out of his position, needs to finish it, tries to maybe chip it through for a finish.
Yeah.
Maybe more cheeky than...
Yeah, I think that was a bit too fancy. He should have just put his lasers through it and it would have been 7-0.
Nonetheless, it does look like Ru is making things harder for himself as he's giving away ball rather cheaply. And again, one-on-one with the keeper. Oh, good stop there from the defender, forcing it out for a corner. A lot of pressure coming in from Naidu and his side. Now, what can they make of this corner? Direct or short? Short it is. Maybe a good cross to the far post. Or works it up and does little tricks or two up his sleeve. Someone's on the edge of the box here. Maybe Mascherano could finish this on the left foot. Not his preferred foot, but nonetheless, great striker goal and offsides. Maybe to ease up play for Ru.
Yep, less than 20 minutes to go. 6-0. The question now, I think, is if Juven can maintain his composure and add a goal more to this scoreline.
Oh, it doesn't sneak in. Was that a save? It was a save indeed. That was almost a sensational finish from what was probably a very good build-up from Juven's side. Now on the edge of the box here. Does look like we're taking the strike. Hits his own player. And De Gea with some catching practice.
Yep. That is unfortunate for it to be offside. Sometimes it happens in football, though, when your teammates don't move out of the way quickly enough, and that goal opportunity has gone missing.
Indeed, I think Ru has a lot to think about. Maybe going towards the last 15 minutes of this. Maybe can he take the strike? Plays what looks like is Ferdinand up front and not really utilizing that opportunity to the best as what he can. Now, Mr. Naidu with some more counter-attack. Triangular play there. Sensational passing from him. Alaba linking up with Perisic. Maybe he can put one up onto the left foot. Decides to swing out to Dybala. Now, he has the strike on to the left. Doesn't do so and brings it on to a sneaky disguise through ball. One-on-one with the keeper. Sends the keeper with the left side and puts it into the far right corner. Great finish, 7-0 Andley.
I think that is probably move of the match. That reverse ball through and the composure to finish. I think that is definitely the greatest goal I've seen in this match so far.
That was very good build-up play. Probably one of the best 1-2s we've seen this weekend this far. And now Ru maybe just wanting to score one so that he can show he is still in a very good position to score goals. We haven't seen much of that in this game. More frustrated than not with these slide tackles. All his players are tired. Now, Mr. Naidu can only make matters worse for Ru. Good link-up player. Perisic finds a good ball out wide. Nice little step over there. Can the guy bring it onto his left foot? Now, one of the keeper. Oh, forces the save. Ru just can't find his feet in this game. A lot of pressure. Oh, little sneaky player. Well defended and waited for there from Ru and his side. Again, just forcing play rather than just waiting for the players to open up.
Yeah, definitely so. I think Juven is still very much on point to score even more goals. He's quite precise and clinical with his passes. He tried to show off a little bit there. It did not come off. But I, for one, would like to see more of that.
We haven't seen all too much trickery play just yet, but what we have seen is some great finishes from Mr. Naidu. Now Ru with a nice long ball out there to Müller. I think that was more of a shot than
in desperation, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Nonetheless, he's won himself a corner. Now, keeper, this is too close for him. It's easy practice catching.
Well,
Here comes the
goes
keeper.
The goalkeeper. That's what I've been wanting to see all this time. Would have liked to see him go a bit further, though.
That did drag in a lot of defenders. One of the keeper, yeah. Can he finish it off? Just puts it wide. Ru found himself in a lot of danger. There was a very slick counter-attack. It all started from De Gea at the back. And he did put in a nice long through ball for the player. Nonetheless, we have Ru on the ball. What can he do with probably what is the end of the match? Andley. That was sensational stuff from Mr. Naidu.
Yep, no, that gave me a taste of what I've been wanting to see with the goalkeeper making that run. And it was absolutely blistering as he played the ball to his winger, who was, I would have thought, was offside, but it turned out wasn't offside. And he had a very good chance to score. Now, if that ended up being a goal, I think that would have made my day so far.
Nonetheless, what's made my day is the amount of goals Mr. Naidu could put in. 7, in fact, what probably could have been 10.
Yep.
He had a few that he's missed out on. Mr. Ru needs to get back to the drawing board before he comes back out here. Nonetheless, respect to both players. They both played well. I'm sure if Annie and myself had to play against Mr. Ru, we wouldn't win. That is the level of competitiveness out there.
Definitely. These guys are on another level, as we have said. But what we've seen from the previous weekend of play and this weekend, we seem to see the differentiator in players who are on another caliber is that they know exactly what they want to do with the ball before they even have it. So that next step is already pre-planned and they can execute even before they receive the ball.
It's almost as if it's predicted before the player even gets it, which just sort of separates the legends from the boys, nonetheless.
Yeah, no, definitely true. That is something that we see with Abu, who we keep referring to just because he has such an incredible ultimate team with the likes of Maradona. Lionel Messi sits on the bench. Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Emmanuel Petit, Patrick Vieira. I mean, that is just an all-star lineup. Like I said, the only player that was missing was the Brazilian legend Pelé.
Nonetheless, this is all to the build-up of the licensed qualifying rounds for the FIFA event eWorld Cup, which is taking place later on this year. Nonetheless, this is where the action is right now. It has been end-to-end stuff with the previous games. Andley, any thoughts going into the next one?
I want more of the same, more of this excitement, maybe a little bit more competition in terms of how the players compete with. I want to see potential extra time and penalties. That's something that we haven't even talked about, is what happens if these players end up in a draw. Yes, it does go to extra time.
And it does maybe end up in penalties. That is always a difficult one for the players, as that's not something they always practice.
Yeah, that is something I think a lot of us don't practice, and luck comes down to it quite a lot. And also finesse on the ball. Will these players have the finesse to bury these balls into the back of the net when the penalty in the penalty spot, one-on-one against the goalkeeper? That is something we are yet to see.
Well, it's been a blockbuster of a morning thus far. If you've just joined us, welcome, and do subscribe for more action, as we'll be right back with you after this break. Dude. FIFA fans, FIFA friends, and FIFA players, welcome, and we're about to wrap things up here on our Saturday with our FIFA South African eWorld Cup qualifiers. Andley, it has been a crazy one today.
Yeah, it definitely has, especially this last game that we watched where we finally got to see a 2-2 draw going into extra time. We were hoping for a bit of a penalty going on there.
Yeah.
However, Juven, one of our players in studio, managed to nick one right at the end, so we did not get to see that penalty shootout.
And it was, in fact, in extra time that specific game went into. And with the second leg between the two of them, he managed to win rather comfortably. If we just have a quick squiz at the log for today, Juven actually topped the log. Goals scored for the day, 28 out of 5 games, Andley.
Yeah, that is very, very impressive. That's what, almost just over 5 goals per game. So, I mean, averaging 5 goals per game is not just an average feat. It takes some doing. So, very, very well done to Juven.
With the amounts of goals scored, he also only conceded 9. So, it just shows you that his defensive roles are just as good as his attack.
No, definitely so. And who do we have in second place?
We have Dee8Black, who's currently still in game, but the way the table is now, it might just end this way regardless. He also ended the day off second, maybe with a few more goals now, but he probably ended on about 14, 15 or so. Nonetheless, the goals scored against him also 9. But if we look at third place, now Splash, Rue, the man that was in studio early on, had a bit of a tough day in the office, nonetheless. But it does look like he had 22 goals scored against him. What do you think about that one, Andley?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a rough day at the office for our man Rue, who was in studio, having conceded and having not gotten his tactics quite right. Even when he brought on his substitute, they didn't seem to fit his team all that well. I mean, I was unfortunate that Cristiano Ronaldo got injured, but having Bastian Schweinsteiger filling in on the winger, that is definitely a hard one.
Well, talking about having it tough, we definitely don't want to have these guys having it rough on the day, especially when you've got a lot to play for and you're getting knocked out at the word go.
Yeah, especially at this level of competition when these boys are clinical with their finishing, clinical with their strategy, and clinical with their team lineup.
What's nice about these qualifiers, it gives us an idea at what level South Africa is actually producing at the moment, and the way we have seen it, it has been
I think we
world class.
We are definitely world class. That's exactly the word that I was going to use as well. Gavin read my mind there. And we are amongst the best of the best, I think. Like we said, this qualifying tournament allows these players to sort of skip a few stages when they go to the tournament in Monte Casino on the 5th and 6th of May. And the winner of that, goes to participate in the FIFA eWorld Cup, competing with the rest of the world's best e-football players.
That's, of course, on both platforms, Xbox and your PS4. Nonetheless, there is tons of action left for you guys. We had today, we have tomorrow, and of course next weekend. Today being the actual qualifiers for Xbox One Group D. It's been exciting. There was a kind of a different vibe to the game, different styles of play, if I could say it that way. A few scissor goals. Goals coming straight in from the corners.
Goalkeeper making a little bit of a run there. That was my highlight of the day, definitely.
So Andley will never give that one a go, where he just wants a keeper to at least get to the halfway line or further, or even score a goal.
Yeah, I enjoy a bit of that cockiness and confidence when it comes to e-football, because you actually have the platform to showcase your skills. And having the goalkeeper make a run, I mean, that just says everything, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, well, talking about skills from these youngsters that are playing the game of FIFA, nutrition is a rather very interesting topic that we had about earlier. These guys do sort of stick to a diet, Andley.
Yeah, okay, that's something very, very interesting nowadays. I mean, when it comes to esports, you want every single bit of edge that you can get. And as we all know, that food plays a great role in any sportsman's life in getting the best performance. So getting your cognitive functioning up and running, being mindful of what you're doing on the field, and being able to make those quick decisions. Yeah, that is what nutrition can actually do for you.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw it with Rue in studio today. His fourth game looked a little bit bit more fatigued making the decisions, making maybe 1 or 2 errored calculations with a few passes, long balls. Nonetheless, it's been awesome. We thank everyone up to now. We look forward to seeing what you can bring to the platform. And Andley loves skilled play. He really loves the skilled play. So that's always a plus side. And yeah, I mean, if you've just joined, remember, subscribe, hit the bell down below, and get in touch with all the action. And if you think you're good enough to take on the guys over here, then register.
Yeah, definitely register. Put your controller where your mouth is. Sign up and come join us in Monte Casino and show us what you got.
Well, that is that for this wrap up for today. Please don't go anywhere, as tomorrow is yet another day with another blockbuster of FIFA action, where the rest of the guys will take it on again to see who can top the log and maybe end off on a good night with a few goals in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully more keeper runs.
Any tips, Andy, going into tomorrow's action?
You know what? Just play your game. Be confident and know how your team is set out and do what you need to do to dictate the play. And you should have success then.
Well, that is that. The man, top one, Andley himself, brought to you by VS Gaming. It has been fun. It's been a pleasure. It's always been an honor to be here. I myself, Gavin, Andley, closing off today. Good night.
Have a good one.